Hello from Chez Moi. It is April the 8th, and now that I have 3 whole subscribers who are not close personal friends of mine, I thought I would give a grand tour of the homestead. So I live, 20 miles east of the center of Atlanta. I sit on 1 acre. We are the city built in a forest. This is a very typical neighborhood. If you listen very closely, you can hear the fact that my backyard backs onto that awful I-285. I'm not far from DeKalb County Jail. We've lived here since 1997. Just had our 20th anniversary in this house, and I have never once mowed lawn. I came in, and this was all English ivy, and over the years I reclaimed the land, excavated this rock wall. And the rock wall we'll see in the back, that one was a recent excavation. This one I excavated, let's say, it was last century, 1998, 99, something like that. So that's the original wall, and then I kind of dug all these other big rocks up out of the yard and piled them up. And I continue to pile them up, really, because they keep coming. And, I don't know, after the kids started coming, I really wanted to bring more of the farmland I grew up on into the city. I mean, there's nothing to beat your own homegrown tomato, right? So we see that our columbines are looking really nice. Our Sweet William, we're getting in the first blossoms. There's going to be a pretty white one. Some purple throat. Lots of buds coming. Yarrow. Again, my parsley came back. My red rose bush is almost blooming. You will note that I am a proud alumna of the University of Alabama. Can I get a roll tide? Let's see what else we got. I don't know, not a whole lot new from my very last video, but I guess we could go over the shape of the land. So most of the lots in my subdivision are a quarter acre. I have 0.97 acres, and it's in its weird lot, so it goes from like that no dumping sign up the hill, around the fence, to the front. We'll stop right there because that's the neighbor's house. And then it goes into the back. So we can see the pathway, which was some neighbor's deck. He got a new deck, he threw this wood out, I had a truck, and voila, I have a pathway. So if we hang a left, oh, look at these little things. The lady who lived here before me, this is a CDC house. The lady who lived here before me was the leprosy lady, Hansen's disease now. She worked with Mycobacterium leprae, and she had this house built in 1973. And then she retired in 1997 and sold it to me. So it has always been owned by someone from CDC. Oh, my hot pink azalea. Oh, it's not even on my land, is it? It just really doesn't do it justice. Can we get closer? Not the best resolution. So my land probably goes right about here, back to there. So that's about a quarter acre, right? And we have the neighbor with the pretty backyard, the neighbor who never ever comes in the backyard, the Trinidadians, new fence neighbor, and other new fence neighbor in the backyard. I don't want to give their real names, so we give the descriptions. So that's the side yard. That's my project for the next couple of years. Chip up this wood, make a path, maybe put something in that tree. I mean, look at that tree. That is a brilliant tree. It's an oak of some sort. Needs to leaf out a little bit. I want to say a water oak, but I mean, it just begs for like a magnificent tree house, does it not? Maybe something between the two trees. Ooh, I could get all Lothlorien on it, right? Okay. This is the rock wall I excavated 2 years ago. This also everything used to be ivy. I don't know why people plant English ivy. It ought to be illegal to sell it in the stores. Okay, that's my rant for the moment. But anyway, this rock wall was here when we bought the house. I don't know if Laura, the lady who, the leprosy lady before me, I don't know if she built it. I don't know if it was like leftover from some homestead and they just built around it. I don't know. But it's kind of cool. This is my gnome garden. You see my Bama gnome. I need to do some weeding because there is a massive dandelion back there. Oh, and what are these? Look at these bugs. What are those? Are those aphids? That's horrid. Oh, wait. But there's a ladybug. Can we see the ladybug? So I guess we'll leave the aphids alone if that attracts ladybugs to eat them, because I'll want them later in my season. All right, I'll have to report that to the Great Bug Hunt. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. Everybody should join the Great Bug Hunt. Report what bugs you see on what. I don't know what that plant is. It's a scion of this tree. I should look it up. Anyway, aphids. My ferns, my gnome garden. Say what again, gnome? I love that gnome. My zombie gnome. So, a little gnome home. So I want to clear that out, make this a little bit more formal, less wild. Let's go back here for just a second. My compost bin. I got some seeds off these fatsia that were themselves landscape seeds from work. It costs like $50 a piece at this point. They're only 3 years old. And I would like to line this walkway with some more fatsia and maybe put some along the fence line there to the back of the property, because fatsia bloom in like November and they quite literally drip with nectar, and they're great for my bees. Okay, so we're back to one of my favorite trees. I have some trees I love to hug, yes. I am a little tree hugger. The camellia bushes. We've seen all this before, but I'm going to take you past a little bit further. So, this little rock retaining wall, let me come back here. Let's look up the hill. If we look at the back of the house, which I figure is the second quarter acre I have, okay, you see that gentle slope? Yeah, that didn't used to be a gentle slope. That used to be a hill and a drop off. And I, in my shovel, made that into a gentle slope. And then I put these little retaining walls here, because that's as really as far as I could go, because there were tree roots in the way. And I don't want to kill those trees. So I built those two little retaining walls, and I've started putting dirt from out front. Whenever in the fall I get the leaves and stuff that kind of wash out of the slope of my yard, leftover compost, I'm putting it in there, and eventually I'm going to fill that in between here and there, and it'll be a nice like impatiens or ferns or something. I also got this little kind of shed structure built. It can be a tiki bar if I entertain. Right now I'm using it for bees, but it's got landscaping cloth in it. And one day, when I can get over to the free compost, I will fill that with compost and also plant some ferns or something. If I get really fancy, I might try to make a picture, but, you know, let's not jinx it myself. So we've visited the chickens before. This is currently the children's play area. I guess when my son finally hits double digits, we'll be able to get rid of these plastic monstrosities, and I can build something nice with pellets. You know, you do what you have to. It's chilly today. It's only like 50, 54. The bees aren't flying. It's that chilly. Hello, chickens. Oh, you don't like that egg foo young either. I love having chickens. Well, there are a couple of bees flying around. Not a whole lot. But, so this is my second half acre. But, we can go around the chickens. And this is the forest primeval. I've never yet been to the end of my property. We have some friends who are what's called hashers. They like to run through, literally run through the jungle, a la Credence. And they have run through here, and they tell me that you can run contiguously from my backyard to Stone Mountain Park. I don't know how you would do that, but that's what they say. So here's another steep drop off. Okay, and this is for perspective. There's the house. You see the house? There's the chicken coop. And the rest of my land goes back there somewhere and kind of hooks around. I've tried to walk behind the neighbors and find my true backyard neighbors, but it's not easy. And Google Maps doesn't help. Anyway, so this is about where I stop in my cultivation. See, this is where I last took the ivy off trees. This is where I still need to work on it because it's way up in those trees. But it's a pine. I don't like pines. And I really wouldn't cry very much if it got strangled out. Especially since they're leaning away from anybody's house. And you can see all the little humps back here where pines have fallen before. So, yeah. I've got, a good 20, 30 years worth of work left to do. So let's go back up to what I've accomplished. And I think that's all I have to say today. We'll finish on the chickens. Hello, cat. You owe me, oh no, you gave me an egg. Who owes me an egg? Stereo owes me an egg. And she seems to be inside. So awesome. So that's my little homestead. I love Atlanta. I love this area. I like to call it God's country. Anything south of the Mason-Dixon, east of the Mississippi, and north of the Florida Panhandle. Perfect weather, friendly people, lots of opportunity, good value for your money. And I think that'll be all from Chez Moi. Au revoir from the Ant Wife's Garden.